Back home, I didn't fit in.
I thought Earth was the problem, but what if it's me?
Well, I like you, and you seem fine to me.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to the reviews with me about movies that I like or hate or just somewhat in the middle. Today I'm going to be talking about Elio, Pixar's brand new movie. And you might be saying, hold on a minute, didn't that movie come out 4 weeks ago? I've been very busy, okay? I don't know if this review will actually serve any purpose other than just getting my thoughts out there, but that's kind of the whole point, isn't it? Anyway, so I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what my thoughts is on Elio. Now, first of all, I will disclaim that I'm a huge fan of Pixar, so most of the time I like them. And this movie didn't disappoint. I actually thought it was quite good. As somebody that, quite frankly, has felt lonely plenty of times in his life, let's put it that way, this is a huge part of the movie, I definitely related to Elio in a lot of ways. And he was also this very chaotic kind of energy, which, if you know me, you know that I'm a little... I'm basically if that randomization function in software turned into a human being, you really don't know what I'm going to do or say 10 seconds from now. And Elio definitely reminded me a lot of myself in that sense. And, you know, honestly, when I was a kid, I didn't have a lot of friends either. So that's the case, you know, I related to that. And then finally, unfortunately, this is hinted at in the trailers, so I'm not really going to consider this a spoiler, but fast forward 10 seconds if you think this is a spoiler, what might be a spoiler. His parents disappear, unfortunately. His parents pass away. We find out in the movie what kills them, but unfortunately they do pass away. And as somebody that's lost a father, I mean, I wasn't a child technically when that happened. I was already an adult, but it still hits home, you know, to lose a parent and to have that in a film. You know, obviously I can relate to a little bit of what that feels like. Thankfully I still have my mother, but I have lost my father. So, you know, that definitely plays into, I think one of the reasons I connected with it so much is, you know, again, this is talking about things that I understand. But anyway, I think everybody pretty much has implicitly somehow dealt with loss. And if you haven't, congratulations, you're in good shape. Hopefully you'll stay there for a long time. But my point being is that I think that these are some of the main reasons I really liked the film. I thought the sound mix was quite good. They used Carl Sagan's voice in part of the movie. Again, I don't know if I'd count that as a spoiler, but I've already told you, so sorry in advance if you count that as a spoiler. The movie's been up for 4 weeks and nobody but me seems to care about this movie, so it's probably not really a spoiler because no one's going to care. It's very sad to me that no one is watching this movie. I think it's actually a decent movie. Now, there is a bunch of political kind of related stuff going on where, you know, we don't necessarily know maybe why things was done. I mean, I don't want to get into all of that, but the directors was changed on this movie at one point, and so the storylines apparently, according to a lot of reporting that's out now, it kind of reports that some interesting, well, maybe not interesting, some things behind the scenes have happened. So, but I'm not going to talk about that. But what I am going to say is that the movie that did come out in theaters I thought was quite good. I think it reasonably is one of my favorite movies of the year, needless to say. I do think you should go see it in the theater, especially if you're one of those people that say, I like original storytelling. I'm one of those people. Put your money where your mouth is, right? But I mean, just to give you an idea of how few people actually was at my local theater. And granted, I'm in a small community in Eastern Kentucky, but Inside Out 2 sold out multiple times in my local theater, easily, right? You know, standing room only to watch the movie, if you will. But with Elio, I went on the opening weekend. It wasn't Friday night. I ended up going on Saturday night, the last screening. And on that last screening, normally when I go to that last screening, a lot of movies, you know, they're doing decent there, if they're popular, right? That movie was so bad. As far as viewership numbers go, there was 5 of us in the entire auditorium. 5 people watching the movie. 5! Right? And I am friends with one of the exhibitors that runs the theater, and talking to her, she said it did horrible the 2 weeks they had it, right? So, you know, basically nobody was showing up to this movie, unfortunately. And if you look at the box office numbers, it seems like that, yeah, that doesn't seem to be just a Eastern Kentucky issue. That does seem to be just an issue with the movie in general. But again, I think that the story makes, if you're into space, which I'm not the biggest space person, but they managed to pull me over and make me interested, so I did enjoy it. And again, I mean, the real thing that worked for me, as with most Pixar movies, is the heart, right? You really feel like that Elio is somebody that you could actually know. Maybe you went to school with an Elio, or maybe you are an Elio, right? And so I think that there is a real, I think there's something you can connect with there. I feel like there's something to connect with there. I'm hoping that it will do really good on streaming, because at this point, it didn't do good in theaters. But to me, you know, it kind of sends this message, you know, remakes is where it's at. I mean, you look at how good Lilo and Stitch did, and How to Train Your Dragon and things like that. And I'm not saying they're necessarily bad movies. I've actually seen both of those. But, you know, you do have to acknowledge, I think, that, you know, original movies at the box office just generally do not do well. And, you know, Disney, they put out a statement, or was it Pixar? It's one of them that put out a statement basically saying, you know, if you want original movies, you need to go see this in theaters, effectively, something to that effect, but you're not doing it. Quite frankly, even though I think it might be a controversial thing to agree with, I personally do think that, you know, you got to put your money where your mouth is. If you like original stories, you know, you need to see it. And, you know, look, people will say, well, I might not like it. Well, yeah, but the reality of it is you don't know what you like until that you watch it. There was a movie earlier this year, back in, I think it was January, February, I watched in the theater called Dogman. And I'm going to be honest with you, I did not think I would like this movie basically at all. And it is one of my favorite movies I've seen this year. It's so funny. I really enjoyed it. You may not, you know, it's based off of a kid's book series, which I thought was really interesting. I didn't even know about the book series till I seen the movie, but, you know, I thought it was interesting. It was very funny, right? So, but I would have never known that I would have liked that movie if that I would not have went to the theater and risked my money on whether or not I was going to like that movie, right? So give movies a chance, right? But anyway, my point being is, I did like the movie. You should see it in theaters. I thought the story made a lot of sense, at least to me, because it's all about this kid that feels left alone out in the middle of, you know, nothingness. And the movie really worked. So again, for me, I think, you know, from a storytelling standpoint, which is what we go to the movie theater for, I thought it was a good story. I recommend you check it out. Thanks for watching this review, everybody, and I hope to see you all again very soon. Goodbye, everybody.
And action.